Hey everybody, this is Gary Ugaric, also known as DJ Funkmaster G, and this video was to give a little bit of an explanation behind the Stayin Alive summer remix. So a couple of months ago, I ran into the gentleman Rafi RMX, and we ran into each other through social media, specifically YouTube, and I had said to him, because I was impressed with his other work, hey, would you like to co-produce a remix of Stayin Alive with me? I said, it's a song I love very much. I said, I've always wanted to put a little flavor on it, and I really like your production work, so I said, let's try to do something together. And he was from Latin America, South America, excuse me, and he just, we had a communication gap, so a lot of Google Translate and things of that nature. But we agreed to work on it. And, over the course of 2 months, he uses a software called Fruity Loops version 20. I'm familiar with Fruity Loops. I am more of a guy of an older generation, so I use Sony Acid. But we would work back and forth. So I'd send him little clips using the stems of what I was aiming for, and then he would assemble it. So I was like, okay, well, we have the acoustic guitar from Stayin Alive. I want to keep with that until the main guitar riff would not kick in until the second verse. And I do want to do a lot of beat drops here and there. So, let's keep the beat going to this point, then let's kill it. Let's bring it back in here. All right, let's stop it here. Let's switch to a double beat for this. So it's kind of a nod to the CPR piece, because Stayin Alive is used to teach CPR. And then I was like, oh, well, look at all of these harmonies, these hidden gems in the original 24-track stems of Barry singing different harmonies that were never used. I'm like, well, let's use these, and let's change the outcome of the song here, and let's change the way that it's done here. Well, let's take the original part of this here, and let's take this additional harmony he did on the separate track and lay it underneath so that it sounds like it's a harmony when it's really just created magically within the edit. So in the end, we actually had the assembly cut done probably about a month ago. And then it's just these little tweaks that you need to do to get things where you enjoy it. We were on the fence about things. Well, do we keep the horns? Do we get rid of the horns? Oh, what do you think of driving up the roads? Or what about maybe making the synths louder? And I'm thinking like, okay, well, to me, if we're going to make something louder, let's make the acoustic guitar louder, because while you do hear it in the original mix, it's not nearly as defined as I would prefer it to be. But that was their choice. That's the Bee Gees, and I respect them. I love Stayin Alive. It's actually probably that and You Should Be Dancing are my favorite songs ever, period. Probably a lot has to do with the fact that I was born in 71, but, whatever. I'm a John Travolta Saturday Night Fever generational person. So if I didn't just give away my age, I did now. But anyways, so Raphael and I, we worked back and forth basically through Facebook Messenger, sending little sound clips back and forth. And, and then when we got the first assembly of the rough cut done, I was so amazed at what he and I created. So he took my ideas, and along with his ideas, we made this co-production that was simply, in my opinion, jaw-dropping to me. It gave the song a whole new flavor, because I said one of the main goals to do this was to not turn it into a dance remix, was not to turn it into anything other than keeping the original context of the song and the length, not making it more than 5 minutes, because the original one is 4 minutes, 47 seconds, if I remember correctly. I said, but let's take all of the elements that are available in these stems and show people what the Brothers Gibb were doing. So you're essentially getting a behind-the-scenes look at a lot of vocal tracks in Stayin Alive that were not put out into the final mix of the song. So it's kind of like I don't want to call it a director's cut, it's like a producer's cut, because obviously we're different producers than the original production team behind the song. And they didn't authorize it. It was just something like, oh my God, if you could realize the hidden gems in these stems. It's amazing. Same thing with Bohemian Rhapsody. If you ever come across the stems for that, oh, they're just amazing. Or Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry. The stems are just a treasure trove of gold nuggets that are hidden. And yes, I completely agree. The artist chose to hide them for a reason. I mean, sometimes you get in the studio and it's like, oh my God, we've been working on this for months and months and months, and we're not getting anywhere. Let's just, sometimes they could say, okay, well, it's good like this. Let's just roll with it. And then there's people like myself and Raphael. Blech, can't talk. And we're like, well, shit, this is amazing to us. Let us, see what we can do with it. And so, we kept as much of the song as close to the original as possible in terms of the 3-verse structure, but we changed the intros a little longer. The bridge is slightly different. And we've changed the entire groove of the song. I mean, it's still a groovy song, but it's not really meant completely as a dance floor track like it originally was when it was released. This is a song that is just a completely different, more mellow vibe. I've listened to it in my car, when I've been out. I've had people that have, seen me at stoplights and they're like, oh, what version of Stayin Alive is that? And I just say, oh, it's a remix, And I didn't tell them I was working on it, didn't tell them any of the background behind it. So it's just a remix. Well, how do I find it? I'm like, I don't know, it just kind of landed in my lap. But anyways, that's the little bit of backstory. But I want everybody to know that while Raphael and I did co-produce it, Raphael gets full credit for the final mastering. He came up with a lot of the effects and the delays that just kind of brought the track together. So together, of both of us working, we put the meat of the remix down. We laid the foundation. So if I was constructing the basement foundation and, basically the structure of a house, and Raphael was doing it with me, he's the one that went in and kind of, you could call him the interior decorator. He's the one that gave the song more depth with the effects, more spatial tones, because one of the things I said to him, I said, look, I don't care what you do with the effects as long as it doesn't sound cheesy and it just has a large sound. I am very into large soundscapes. Kind of also stems from when I made movies. People are like, Jesus, you really like wide shots. And I'm like, I believe in telling an epic story. So that's the history behind this remix. Took us about 2 months to do, and now you're getting to enjoy it for the first time released. Raphael put it out a little earlier today on his channel. I'm about to drop it on mine in the next 15-20 minutes, so you get the story. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, leave it on either this page or the other page, and the link below will take you right directly to the remix. All right, guys, thanks, and have a great one. Bye.